Yo, today we have Reddit comments, and I found the place where I left off a month ago, and it was right there where I had read the great progress. Someone put a progress update and they deleted the comment, and I was like, oh, they deleted it. So I remember where I left off. The next, following on, the next comment I writ. Okay, let's see. How can I stay motivated? For a bit of context, I began tracking my meals so I could lose weight to feel more confident about myself. I wouldn't call myself fat, but I just had a very bad I just had very bad eating habits. So my main goal is to, I suppose, be more mindful of what I'm actually eating. Anyways, I've been struggling to find motivation. I'm just doing it to feel happier about myself, and I just don't have another source of motivation, really. So I was wondering, does anyone have good motivation tips for me, or things that have helped improve their motivation? Now let's see what I had to say. It's weird because I don't know what I had to say. I forgot. I'm not looking at the answer. I'm not looking at it, but I forgot what I've said. Your goal to be happier about yourself is great and is enough of a reason to keep going. And I hope you achieve your goal. You can try out different meals and meal plans to change things up if you get used to your current meals and what you want to and want to change it up. Focus on being consistent and practice self-discipline rather than searching for motivation elsewhere. Focus on within because that is what you can change. Hope this helps, bro. The first sentence is very powerful for me, even reading it, because it was great advice to myself. Thank you, Chance. You gave great advice to me. I truly believe that when you get in a mode of over analyzing and perfectionism, you downplay all of your motivations and reasons for doing things. And in this instance, it's just great to say that the things I have planned, the goals I have planned, and my reasons for achieving them and wanting to achieve them is good enough. I don't need to have it more better than it already is. And being satisfied with the reasons and your justifications and your targets is just a great way for you to avoid that over analyzing and perfectionism side of things, where you think there's always a better way, there's always a way I can make it look better. And in that instance, it's just better to just say, okay, look, I have these in front of me, that's enough, and I'm proud of it, I'm happy of it, and this is good enough for me to work hard towards. I don't need another reason. My brain is trying to put resistance in my head, like trying to make me think there's another way I can outbe it. So let me pause and we'll wait until I find that reason. Well, you need to tell yourself, no, this is enough. Stop it right now. This is enough for me to go afterwards. And this is enough for me to go after. And I should not delay anything, waiting for a better reason to come to my mind. I should just start now. Also, the second sentence of me recommending switching things around and changing things is a great way to kind of introduce novelty, which means like originality and something different into your routine. And introducing that side of novelty, it makes things more exciting and it makes it different than how you would normally expect your routine to be. And that's something that can keep you going. Consistency and self-discipline are important. Always keep that in mind. Self-explanatory. And another thing, rather than your soul, I think it alternates where your motivation should be, where you should look for motivation. Sometimes it should be external, sometimes it should be internal, and sometimes you mix both. And that's for you to kind of use your experience and your knowledge and seek advice to kind of pick your points of when to shift that scale. And in his case, I think I would like to believe that it was a good because I would like to say, like Dave Chappelle says, his pieces of work and my pieces of work, for example, let me just put it in my perspective. The pieces of work that I'm putting out now, the comments and the replies to questions and posts, are the depiction of what I was thinking at the time. And at the time I wrote that, I thought that this person needed to seek motivation internally and find it within himself, find reasons within himself, whether it's for his past or what he wants to achieve in the future or something that inspires him now. Look internally to find that motivation to keep you going. Let's see this comment. Thank you so much, bro. This actually has opened my eyes a bit. I think I forget how much I lack self-discipline, so this will be good for me in the long run. And I always love to see that, because over the past few months, like 4 or 5 months, I haven't barely seen, like 4 months, I've barely seen like much response as much output as I put out. Like I haven't seen much feedback, but whenever I do, I just appreciate it, and I'm just so grateful for it, because it's great to know that your words are heard, and whether it's positive or negative, it's just great to know that someone's listening. Let's see, next comment. Oh, this post was deleted. Success is a question. Success is about being proud of yourself. Let's see, American accent. Success is about accomplishing the goals you set for yourself. What it means to different people is subjective, but you can set your own objective and achievable goals to work towards your success in accomplishing them. Yeah, so I label success as accomplishing the goals you set for yourself. Really, is that to kind of counter myself a little bit. Success is not necessarily that. It's just achievement, because that definition, and I would just call it achievement. When you complete a goal for yourself or complete a task, I'll just call it achieving it. When you tie success, you tie success. Success is almost something that it's almost something that you're proud of, right? It's almost something that you would call, it is almost like an achievement of some sort. Like success is at the end of your journey. So in that way, success is something that it will be subjective to the person. Whatever they deem as something, as once I achieve this, it's going to be a great thing, they will label that success. And with that mindset, you can make it your own way. You can shift it to your own sort of meaning of what success means to you, and that, because once you know its subjective meaning, you could sort of like tie it to something that you feel is important. Okay, let's see next one. I'll summarize this. Everything I do doesn't seem to be enough. How can I overcome this? Okay, so one of my classes has a ranking system. Has this ranking system, and I've worked so hard from the midterms to get a spot, and I still failed to do so. I feel like an outsider in class. I feel like my younger self could have done a better job than this older, burnt out, fraud version of me. I've gone through that phase before when I was younger. I feel even more like a fraud and a dumb guy when I think about going to med school in the future. I would like to ask for advice on how to change this mindset of mine, and on how I can avoid getting easily influenced by the people I am with. Thank you. Let's see what I had to say. Okay, so I start with addressing his end statement in his question, and post congratulating him for wanting to change and grow, because the question that he gives, it just shows that he's willing to kind of improve his life and want to kind of do great things. And that's, to me, that's a great sign that you want to do something, that you want to change. So that is something you should celebrate first in your head. Just be like, I'm happy I've initiated this question, and I've initiated a conversation that could lead to my learning and growing. There are two things you can work on that will take you a long way. Positive mindset, the influence of friends. And I'm assuming that I'm mentioning positive mindset, meaning to kind of promote that positive way of thinking, and understanding that the second one, that your environment influences you heavily. Let's just get into what I said. This means to use positive affirmations and a positive attitude towards your ability at wherever level you're at and your capabilities. This helps your mental health in the long term because you focus on building yourself up instead of dragging yourself down. And with consistency and time, your brain will pick up on this attitude and habit, so it will make that your default. A positive attitude goes a long way because you are able to rely on yourself to tell yourself you are capable of, and that to tell yourself what you are capable of and that you can do it. Yeah. So a positive attitude is that, I would call it that what do you call it? I was gonna mention just like it's that extra tool in your arsenal. It's the extra gun in your gun locker that will propel you forward. I shouldn't use guns, not gun locker. Okay, forget that. It's another tool that you have in your toolkit that will help you achieve so many things, and promote having a better mental health. Okay, I'm lost. Okay, today, listen, I don't know why I have this pen here. I thought it would look cool. All right, today I'm at a loss for words. It's been a while since I recorded, so it's been like a week. All right, so the goal of the positive attitude and the mindset is to prevent a mass number of negative thoughts bombarding you and you having no defense to it. So this positive way of thinking is another tool that you can use to help promote good thoughts, a good attitude, and achieve more. Number 2, the influence of friends. Friends have a big influence on how we operate in an environment. There was a saying that I recorded a while ago. You either bring your friend closer to your way of thinking, or your friend brings you closer to their way of thinking. It's very true. It goes. It's almost like a sand. Like imagine like a mountain of sand, and you can't really sit at that top bit because the sand it's gonna move either way. It's either move that your way or their way, and you need to understand that. Another quote that I had seen from a guy, it's a speaker. He likes to shout a lot, but he mentions that bring me your 5 friends, your 5 closest friends, and I'll tell you your future. Meaning that those around you influence the way you're thinking and your way of acting. So you need to assess that and realize what patterns you are picking up and why you are acting certain ways. What good things have you picked up? What bad things have you picked up? This saying means that one of the 2 friends will change how they act and think, even if it happens slowly. I and my other people can relate to this. Yeah, I've had conversations with people, like my close friends that I've lost contact with and kept contact with now. Many people I've talked to about this, that is your environment does influence you, and I was of the side before that I was like, they'll never influence me. I'm so powerful in my head that they'll never change me. But really and truly, that was a lie to myself, because they do influence you, and that's how we are in our human nature. If you want to grow when it comes to learning and studying, you can do 2 things. Find other people in your class that you can connect with when it comes to working hard and achieving higher grades, so that you can build off of each other's knowledge and attitude to studying. That's one great option. The other thing is to slowly share your passion for studying with your current friend group through, for example, Let me start again. For example, asking to meet up to study, talking about exam topics, and talking about study sessions you have had. That's a great one, and I'd like to add on to it that you can mix the 2. So for example, let's say you have a group of friends that you have that have been your friends that you've known since earlier, and they don't like to study, and you have a group of people that you have talked to and you have a good relationship with, and they like to study. What you can do is sort of like mix the group of friends together, where you go out with your close friends, and you can invite one of the guys that you studied with before, and what he can do is help you, whether he knows it or not, help everyone in the group to start thinking about studying and revising more, and it becomes a normal. Because if 1 out of 10 people say, I want to study, and everyone's like feels 50-50 about it, majority of the time, people will not want to study because it's just one guy saying it. But let's just say you had 4 people of the 10 people saying this statement, I want to study, let's go study, I really want to study, that 6 people that are 50-50 about it, they're going to lean more towards studying because of confirmation bias, we call it, or just that social proof, or that social currency, meaning that the more people that agree with a certain idea, the more likely you will agree with that idea, because that many people agreeing with it shows something in your head that there's something correct about this, and there's something that I should look into and actually consider. If you focus on taking your time with these 2 things, then you can hopefully achieve your goal and have the ability. I believe in you. And I just give him a bro fist. Man, okay, this is another person replying to this. You know what? Let's see. Man, slight rant, but my friends aren't doing the best, and I'm always bringing them up. And sometimes I look to the smart kids in class for study buddies, but holy, they are such toxic people. The best are ignorant and dismissive, and the worst are incredibly harmful. I want to be a good person and see others for who they are and do well. I don't have to give up my best friends who help me for grades or vice versa. Guess I just need to get really good. And I guess because I gave the 2 options and I didn't give the third option of kind of mixing the groups, which could have been a great option for him. And yeah, it's sometimes, I'll say this now, sometimes, by the way, this is a cast for my arm, side note. Sometimes, let's use this answer I gave. Theoretically, it sounds very good, and it's good words put together and potential advice you can use. Now, practically, that's another story. The stuff I said could not apply to your specifics because this is just general advice. However, the specifics in your actual practical situation, it could prevent you from taking these pieces of advice fully or even entirely. And that is something that you have to fill those gaps when you go through it, and you kind of have to keep asking and get more specific and go through the motion and figure out how you can keep this boat afloat and how you can get to the destination. Next one. Okay, we're at 18 minutes. We're going to do this one and then I'll be done. Man, that was difficult. Help. Which Quran is better for a beginner? I'm assuming it's also the English translation of the meaning of the Quran, because we say that there's no translation of the Quran because it's hard. You cannot translate a language to another language fully because things get lost in translation, and you lose the meaning because, for example, in Arabic words, there's certain words that have like 100 different synonyms, and it could be misinterpreted when it's translated to English, Spanish, German, Japanese, wherever. So this person posed the question of what great books are there to get. To be fair, both books are great. I've personally read the Abdul Halim translation, and that's something that, if you watch my video, the importance of Islam to me, I go over how that translation really was easy for me to read and really got me into learning about Islam and put me on my path to pride and personal contentment with my religion and understanding what what I was created for, what's my purpose, and where am I going to go after I die, and who's my God, and who are my prophets, and our God, our prophets. So I say wa alaikum assalam. I have 3 copies of Abdul Halim's translation, and it is great. It focuses more on the beauty of the language rather than capturing more of the meaning compared to other translations, but it is great for beginner readers. You can use the Quran app too, Quran.com app too, where there are many translations, including the 2 you mentioned. With the Arabic with the Arabic I remove that. Supposed to remove that. With the Arabic to understand more of both languages. Inshallah, you are rewarded for your knowledge, for seeking knowledge. Another translation I'll give before I go is the Sahih International, which is a great translation that also captures some great parts of the Quran and its meanings.